Thanks for joining us. I want to get you updated here on our grain trade and then bring in a special guest here in just a moment. Let's go to the corn board in Chicago right now, and we'll see how the prices are holding up in the early going here today. We're still hanging on to a gain of about a penny. March corn up a penny and a quarter at 348.5, and now you have July a penny and a quarter higher at 365. On the soybeans, here we go with a look at March. It's now down 5 at 961 3/4. It's starting to accelerate on the downside here. We are just within a penny of our low of the day at this point, and off of our earlier high by about 7 cents from last night. We have July soybeans down 5 at 982 1/4. On the wheat trade in Chicago wheat, we have March currently a half cent higher at 428 1/4. July up a half as well. Kansas City wheat, we have the March contract in there a penny and 3/4 higher at 435. Had been about 3 cents lower than this at one point. July now a penny and a quarter higher at 463 3/4. On the Minneapolis wheat trade, we have the March contract now at 625. That's down a half cent. July down 2 1/2 at 631 1/4. And if we go to the cotton market in the early going today, we have the March contract 6 points higher at 78.20 cents per pound. Let's go to the phone and talk with Ben Hushon of the Mill in Whitehall, Maryland, and he joins us right now. And for conditions on the Mid-Atlantic coast region there, what's the weather like today here, Ben?
Good morning, Marlin. We've sure seen a big change come in overnight. The last time we saw temperatures above 32 was Christmas Day.
Wow.
And now today, we had a sleet and snowstorm roll through last night and coated everything, but it's already up to 43 degrees here today. So we're basking in summer coming back.
So what are farmers up to today? I understand the Keystone Farm Show is just kicking off today, isn't it?
It is. We were seeing people spreading lime, et cetera, yesterday, but with the warm weather, came just in time for the Keystone Farm Show, which is primarily farmers and contractors. Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, and New York will all pass through. There's 400 vendors. It's all inside, so even if the sun didn't come out so warm today, it would be a good day. And Marlin, they do tickets on the way in the door. It's free, but they track people coming in the door, and they average about 10,000 people here in 3 days. So it's truly the place to be and the place farmers and sometimes wannabe farmers show up to. It should be a great 3 days.
I believe you had sent in some video in conjunction with maybe portions of that show or what the farmers are working on here this week. If we have it, we can roll that. But tell me what they will find at that show this year.
Well, it's a big variety. You can come talk to every seed company that trades in Maryland and Pennsylvania, from corn, soybeans, alfalfa, grass hay. The national companies are here, and the locally owned companies are here. You can do the same thing with fertilizer, dairy. There's a bunch of dairy equipment in here that folks that can come fix equipment at your place. And then there's always, just like we see down at the Louisville Farm Machinery Show, there's always the local fella who's in his farm shop has come up with a different way to dismount a tire, or a new way. The folks that are right beside our booth have been here for 15 years, and he has a hitch that you can back your tractor up and hook up a wagon so you don't have to get on and off the tractor all the time. So it is the full, and oh, by the way, there's food. And
have to have that.
What farmer doesn't want to come see equipment, kick tires, and eat food?
Well, I encourage everybody to check that out. That is going on. It starts today, and it runs for a couple more days. And Ben, good luck at the show. Can't wait to hear the report next week when we talk with you again. Ben Hushon of the Mill in Whitehall, Maryland. We'll come back in just a moment. We'll run down all your livestock trade on the other side. Crude oil hovering around that $62 benchmark on the West Texas Intermediate crude. And the dollar is about 180 points higher again this morning as well, something to keep in mind. I want to take a look at what's going on in our livestock trade. Remember, the last couple of days were featured by, we had one contract limit down as we wrapped up last week on the live cattle. And then yesterday we had follow-through selling led by the nearby contracts. Well, this morning we opened up with a little bit of firmness in the trade. And right now we have firmness across the board. We currently have the live cattle on the February now 23 higher. We're trading at 117.45 per hundredweight, and we have the April contract 22 cents higher, and it's at 119.52 per hundred. A fairly narrow trading range here today. We've only had a trading range that's about 60 cents wide, not all that wide for a change. June live cattle now in there at 111.38, and that is up about 18 cents on the day. Let's go ahead and take a look at our feeder cattle trade here if we could, and see what's going on in the feeder board. On the January contract, we are now 67 lower. Now we had the live cattle going the other way. January quoted at 145.78 per hundredweight, and we have the March contract 20 lower at 141.72. Meanwhile, we have the April contract with a price of 141.80 per hundredweight. That's about 70 cents now off of our earlier high from this morning, getting closer to the low. We're 30 cents from the low, currently down 22 from where we finished up yesterday on the settlements. So a little weakness on the feeder cattle side here early this morning. And if we move on to the lean hog market here, on the lean hog futures, that February contract, the nearby contract, is 8 lower at 72.90 per hundredweight. It's already come off of its earlier high by about a half a dollar or so. Now the April contract is down a dime at 76.70 on the day, and that one is 40 cents off of its high this morning. May now 5 lower, and it's quoted at 80.90. You will note that we still have that wide spread between the nearby February and that June contract, for example, that is still nearing 13 cents wide, well over $12 wide between the February and June. So there's a lot of bear spreading, I guess you would call it today, with the nearby showing a little weakness here, Janet, in the deferred contracts, hanging in there with very slight gains on the lean hogs. They are testing overhead resistance at a triple top right now. Kind of decision time. Are they going to make another leg higher, or are they going to turn and go back down?
Early in the week for a lot of activity.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Marlin.